All right, we got Barbara Jones here on my podcast today. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thanks for having me here.
I tell you, first of all, I'm glad I know you because I see what you do to help homeless people out. Myself, I don't have time to do exactly what all you do, but I do keep $5 bills in between my seat of my car and hand them to homeless people all the time. So, with this great country we have, no one should go hungry. I don't care. That's just my opinion. And it's sad to see what I see on my way to work and back, the way I go in behind to go to the ARIA. There's homeless people all the time that way. But you know what? Let the whole world know what you do there, honey.
Well, hi, everybody. And big shout out to this guy here. I just love him to death. And Ryan Kirk and I have talked about you a lot. And I love what you're doing. And thank you for having me and giving me this format to just talk about what we are doing in the city. This is a great city. It's an abundant city. And the sad thing is we have about 32,000 homeless people. Yeah. People don't realize that, but there are people who live underneath the tunnels on the Strip. Shine the Light Foundation, another great foundation. They go into the tunnels. And I believe there's, last count, just under 2,000 people living in those tunnels. Now, I won't do that because I'm claustrophobic, and I don't recommend anybody go into a homeless encampment by yourself. It's dangerous. We always go in groups. We always go as a team. So please don't ever I'm going to go make peanut butter and jelly sandwiches and hand them out to the homeless people. It can be dangerous. So unless you go with a group, guys, please don't do it. It's also illegal to feed the homeless.
I didn't know that.
Yes, you can get ticketed for it. Wow. So, if you go out to the parks and stuff and you start handing out food, they can actually ticket you. And I know a couple people who have been ticketed for having a group without a permit or whatever they figure out that they want to ticket you for. It's silly. So just real quick, I'm going to tell you who I am and who I'm with. My name's Barbara Jones Zangaro. You can see me on Facebook. I am the Chief Executive Officer of Poker Gives, DBA. Vegas Connected is our primary organization. And Poker Gives is the fundraising arm of Vegas Connected. So Vegas Connected encompasses the WPA, Women's Poker Association. We help fundraisers for that. We have For the Boots, which Lupe, who is our president, she goes out to Nellis Air Force Base. And if the chaplain needs anything, if there's any needs on the base, we work with those guys out there. We have Vegas Youth Network, where we go into Title I schools, which there's over 200 Title I schools here in Las Vegas. And that just means that at least 80% of the students receive government funding. And there's a lot of needy kids in our schools. I've learned about ketchup soup. They take ketchup packets home on the weekend because they have no food at home.
Oh, my God.
And they mix it with water, and that's what they eat for the weekend. There's a lot of kids that the only thing they eat is at school. So we've worked with Rancho High School. We've worked with Cimarron High School. We used to have a couple. We'd go in and they would literally buy $30,000 worth of backpacks with school supplies. And we would go at the beginning of the year and work with communities and schools and hand out to their counselors for kids who didn't have school supplies or shoes. There's a school down, it's off of the 15 by Lake Mead. And the counselor there asked me for shoes because they had kids coming to school with shoes with the toes cut out because they couldn't afford new shoes and the old shoes were too small. So we went and did a shoe drive and took some shoes in to the kids, and we help them with hygiene items and all kinds of things. And then we have Las Vegas Street Hearts, which is our primary focus, just because I'm one person and I can only do so much.
Yeah.
But that's where we feed the homeless. And we work with an organization called the Care Complex, which is in downtown Las Vegas. It's right next to the courtyard. And the courtyard was built by the city. It's managed by Nevada Behavioral Health. It's not technically a shelter, it's a resource center. And for those of you who may be from the Midwest, you know what a pole barn is. It's 4 poles with a roof. And there's probably about 1,200 in the area. And they literally sleep on mats on a concrete slab. They have a women's section, they have a men's section. They have, for the summer, they put misters and ceiling fans up. And for the winter, they have some heaters.
Wow.
But they're 15 feet up in the ceiling. There's no walls. So, as you know, in Las Vegas, it can get pretty windy. And so
Yes,
that
it
wind
can.
just cuts right through. Well, the Care Complex actually has a brick wall dividing that area, so it breaks the wind a little bit. So we work with the Care Complex, and we serve at their graciousness because, like I said, it's illegal to feed the homeless, but we're on private property. So there's nothing that the city can
Okay.
do for us. We cannot go out on the streets. We cannot go out on the sidewalks and serve. We have a group of probably, on a regular basis, we have 20 volunteers that come out. And we feed, right now we're feeding over 700 people every week.
Oh, that's amazing stuff.
Yeah. And
Wow.
they love Monday nights because we call it the Monday Night Buffet. It's their favorite night of the week. And I just got to give a shout out to some partners. We have Olive Garden, Chick-fil-A,
Wow.
Parsley Mediterranean Grill, Zaba's Mexican Grill, Red Lobster. Sometimes we get food from Whole Foods, Trader Joe's. Trying to think if there's any others, but there's a national program called Food to Donate. And I'm hooked up. I always say it takes a village. And I'm hooked up with several other nonprofits who either run food banks or work with this national program. And so what we do is we go into these restaurants. And again, I'm going to say those restaurants again because I really want your listeners to support them and thank them for donating because this is food that would otherwise go in the trash. So from Olive Garden, we get soups. Sometimes we'll get their spaghetti sauce. Sometimes we'll get noodles. I just got some marsala sauce.
Wow.
I put on some rice and we served marsala rice and we get creative. And then Red Lobster, oh, they love it. We had shrimp, crab legs, lobster tails, salmon. That was this week. We only do Red Lobster like once a week. You'd love to come to my line. I'm telling you, you'd love to come to my food line. So, and then with the Parsley Mediterranean Grill, the meat that they use for the gyros, sorry, my rolling R's aren't very good, so I can't say gyros or however you're supposed
Or
to say it,
gyros
right?
or
Right.
heroes or
Right.
yeah.
White girl here. So anyway, but the meat at the end of the night, instead of throwing it in the trash, they throw it in the freezer. They give it to me, and then I take it and I chop it up and I mix it up with some noodles, and we make beef and noodles. And then Chick-fil-A, they give us chicken strips, chicken breast, salads, fruit salads, macaroni and cheese. The kids love the macaroni and cheese. Yes, we serve homeless kids. We currently have about 20 families that we're serving that are staying down there. And, you know, the crisis in Las Vegas is affordable housing. A lot of the people, you know, there is a stereotype of homelessness about, oh, it's just drug addicts and alcoholics and blah, blah, blah. It's not, guys. Let me tell you, if you came down and you served in my line, and I'm just going to say this, 200 East Fourmaster, Monday nights, except for the first Monday of the month, because Barb needs a break. We serve at 5 p.m. Come down, volunteer, and watch how appreciative and how much you get. Thank you. God bless you. Can't believe you guys are doing this. And there's probably I'd say 30 kids that come through our line. And of
Jeez.
course, they love the Chick-fil-A and they love the macaroni and cheese. And so we'll keep a separate pan of macaroni and cheese just for the kids.
Just for the kids?
Yeah. So, and the adults are like, can I have some? And we're like, sorry, it's for the kids, guys.
Hey, Barb, how long has you been doing this now? A couple
So,
years? 5 years?
Long time.
Oh, really?
2013.
Wow.
2013.
That is
You've been in poker a long time. You might know. I had a friend. Her name was Carla Mickelson. And she was from the Northwest, and we met at Spirit Mountain in Oregon, and we were playing poker, and she ended up moving here to Las Vegas. I ended up moving to Las Vegas. We became very good friends. She was super giving. She would make fruit plates for her mailman, her garbage men, cookies at Christmas and all that. So she passed away in October
sorry
of
to hear that.
2013. And I said, you know what? I'm going to do something to honor her memory and her giving. And so I found out about this organization who was serving down on G Street in the historic West Side. And for those of you who don't know Las Vegas, the historic West Side's probably one of the poorest sections in town. And it's been overlooked, and traffic has been rerouted. So used to have the famous Moulin Rouge in the historic West Side. And that was the only Black-owned casino back in the days when Black people weren't allowed in the casinos. They had the Moulin Rouge. Great history. That's why they call it the historic West Side. And so anyway, we used to serve right across the street from where the old Moulin Rouge was. And there was a church there, Episcopalian church, and a priest, Father John. He used to drive down from Ely, Nevada, every Monday night, and the church would serve food. Well, what I came to find out is nobody was bringing clothing. And so I said, let me take some clothing down. And so I bought a truck with my own money. And I just started power of social media, and you know us in poker.
Absolutely.
Right? We just ask our poker players, and you guys come through. And so I was getting clothing and taking it down there because we would have families come down or people come down, and it's the middle of winter and they got on shorts and a T-shirt. And it's 30 degrees outside.
Jesus Christ.
And so we would get blankets and all that kind of stuff. Fast forward 2020, COVID hits. I show up in my truck with my clothing and nobody's there.
Wow.
And there's, except for about 100 homeless people. And I'm like, they all come up to my truck and they're like, you got any food? I'm like, I don't do food. The church does food. I said, I just bring clothing. And I said, you know what, guys? I said, give me a couple minutes. My friend Sophina, she was driving my car. She came down with her girls. And I gave her my credit card. I said, go find not Donato's, my Ohio roots, Domino's or Little Caesars, something that's open. I said, and let's buy 20, 25 pizzas, buy like $100 worth of pizza. So we bought 25 pizzas. And fortunately, I'd had some drinks in the backseat of my car. And I told everybody, I said, listen, I said, one piece of pizza. If there's extra, you can come back for seconds. They were so appreciative, so kind, orderly, never had a problem.
Wow.
And power of social media, I get on social media and I said, guys, you know, we're going to start serving food. Come down. Well, poker industry, you guys, some of you can be very giving. Yeah. And so people, you know, started coming down and bringing pizza or bringing a tuna noodle casserole or, you know, baked beans or salad or whatever. And it got to the point, there was another lady who we work with, Kim Henderson, and she runs Setting the Captives Free. And she was showing up in her little Fiat, serving out of the back of her car.
That's something.
Right?
God
and she's serving
God
spaghetti and coffee or hot chocolate.
That's how all this got started.
Right. Well,
that's what I'm taking
basically,
here.
Yeah. And I did forget back in 2013 when I started this, I decided that Carla was a victim of domestic abuse. And so I called the Shade Tree, which is a shelter for women who have suffered from domestic abuse. And I said, I want to bring Santa Claus down. And they said, okay, but you're going to have to get gifts for all the women as well as the children. And I said, well, what are we talking about? And they said, we have 300 residents. And I'm like, oh, my God.
Oh, my.
So at the time, I was working at Aria as a dealer.
Okay.
And so I just started talking it up as I'm dealing. I'm like, this is what I'm going to do. I figured I could spend $5 per person. That'd be $1,500. If I needed to put some of my own money in, I would do it. People just started tipping me $5, $20, $10.
I know all about that. I worked there.
Right, exactly. Great players, great people. And so we went down. I think I ended spending about $500-$600 of my own money. We went down. We gave everybody a gift. And the thing that really catapulted me was there was a little girl there, and she got a doll that was about as big as her. And she's dancing around with her doll.
Oh, my God.
And she goes up to her mom, and she tugs on her mom, and she goes, Mommy, Santa Claus came here for Christmas.
Oh, my. You're going to get me up. Come on here.
Right. So, listen, that's
Jeez.
exactly what I did.
I'm telling you, you're going to get me going.
Me and my friend, we turned around,
Wow.
wiped our eyes, and I said, I will do this with my last dying breath.
Yeah. Wow.
And so that's really how it all started. Yeah. And
keep talking. I don't know if I can talk right now.
So
Wow.
fast forward up into, 2020, Kim's there. I have some great volunteers, Leland and Tanya Wolf, and Greg, who was a homeless guy who actually lives with me now. And he helps me take care of my dogs. Just so you guys know, I've got 11 dogs, all rescues. I'm also a huge animal lover. Please go to the Animal Foundation, adopt, foster, do something. We got an animal crisis here. That's not part of the charity, but it's a big passion of mine. So Greg now lives with me. He helps me take care of the dogs. He helps me. He actually we got this frame of a trailer. He built a trailer. And then when my husband passed away in 2023, he had bought a trailer for a business he wanted to do. So I now have, that's a beautiful trailer, all enclosed, super great trailer, got tie downs and everything. So we use that now for the charity. So we would load up, go down, serve, pack up, because we would have extra food. This is how we found about the courtyard. Somebody said, let's go to the courtyard and hand out down there. So we started going down there, and we would serve like maybe 80 people on G Street and another 80 to 100 people at the courtyard.
That's amazing.
Well, it eventually got to be too much. I mean, if you can only imagine packing up tables, food,
a lot of
warmers,
work.
and all that stuff. So I was like, Kim, you got G Street. You can take care of this. I'm going to go to the courtyard, and I'm going to serve at the courtyard. And so we now serve solely at the courtyard. If we have extra food, we help Kim. Kim has extra food. She helps me. And then we also met another lady, Maribel, who runs Restoration and Recovery Foundation. And she bought a church, 28 West Owen. She's a psychiatrist, social worker, not social worker, psychologist, I think she is. Anyway, she specializes in drug and alcohol addiction.
Wow.
And she does counseling as well as feeds people. And, we help her. She helps us. It takes a village. 100% takes a village.
I want to tell you a little story that when you were talking about people living under
the tunnels.
Yes. I got a story for you about that. This has been probably 13 or 14 years ago. I had some friends come out of town from Ohio to visit me, and we went golfing over at I believe the golf course was called Desert End or Desert something. Desert.
Okay.
Anyhow.
Not a golfer, sorry.
Anyhow, under them tunnels, you could see people living in there.
Yeah.
Okay? We got a hell of a rainstorm.
Mm-hmm.
We got stuck on the golf course.
Mm-hmm.
the guy that cuts the greens actually died. The water from how bad of a rainstorm we got wiped everything out. And I think all the people escaped. I mean, the tunnels were water coming out like you wouldn't believe, but all of their ripped up chairs and furniture come out on the golf course.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, I never remember. I was just new to Vegas basically then. I mean, I didn't come out here till 2008. But when I seen this happening, we couldn't. We were up on the highest green, so we wouldn't get swept away because the rain came so quick and so fast. Yeah. And I mean, it poured, and I'm sure a lot of people remember that day when that happened.
Well, the police actually have a special task force when they know that it's because we have monsoon season, right?
Yeah.
And when they know the monsoons are coming, they try to go into the tunnels and try to get those people out
of there before it happens. Yeah.
They have no idea. It's pitch black in there. They don't know what's going on outside in the outside world. But that water, because Vegas is a concrete city, that water just floods. If you've ever been down at the link, remember the link? I mean, there were cars
I remember
floating away.
Floating.
And, literally.
Well, you should see these people trying to get out of there. That's what I'm getting at.
Yeah.
And so we were like, what the hell's going on here?
Yeah.
Because I could not believe how quick it started. And then it went, and I mean, it was like pouring buckets.
Yeah.
And the whole golf course was flooded.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the guy that was out there cutting the greens, he couldn't get out, or the tractor wouldn't move, and he got swept under. And then, there's the pass to where he was a mile down the,
It comes fast. It flows quick. Yeah.
So, I just care for people like you. I mean, I don't have Mondays off to help her. Believe me, I'd come and help you once in a while when I could.
Well, let me tell you something. Reaching your followers is huge.
I believe some of them will come through. I mean, I'm still wild over what's happened to me, hon. Honest to God. Since for the last year, once again, you might have to start talking again because I can't help it. It's thank the Lord, by the way.
Amen.
I'll tell you that right now. If you would have talked to me a year ago, what's happened in my life and what I've been through and what I'm going through now, it's wow. It's just a wow. And God, thank you, Lord. Whew.
I have to piggyback on that because, I never dreamed when I bought my little truck and loaded it up with some clothing what Poker Gives would become. And for those of you who are not familiar with Poker Gives, it actually started with Linda Johnson, Jan Fisher, Lisa Tenner, and Mike Sexton back in, I believe it was 2008. And they would do poker charity tournaments, but they didn't they gave the money to other charities to do the work. They fundraised for other charities. And then I came in 2014, and that Linda, Mike, we all know, had gone to World Poker Tour, and Linda was Card Player Cruises, and, so they had kind of gone their own way. And for those of you who don't know, Lupe Soto, who runs I don't have a Kleenex with me.
How did you know that's what I was looking
I know. Because I got tears on the corner of my eyes as well.
I'm trying to be okay, but it's just this is who I am, man.
But, I listen, I'm right there with you. I cry at the Star Spangled Banner.
I have a few questions. We still got some time left, but one of my questions is, what can you tell the people that are watching right now? How can you donate for you? Is there some kind of online thing or something they can do?
It's quick and easy. Go to pokergives.org. Don't go to .com, please, because I don't know what site that is. Poker, Poker, gives, GIVES.org, and just hit the donate button. And if you want, you can do a regular donation every month. We've got one young man, he donates $5 a month. And you know what? He's a kid. I'm going to tell you guys, he's a kid.
Wow.
And it just touches my heart when I see some of the donations that we receive. Some people $20 a month, $25, some people give $100 a month. And every penny that you donate to Poker Gives goes to Poker Gives. I don't receive a salary. All of our volunteers are volunteers. Nobody is paid. So when you see these other charities that have a 50% admin cost or 30% admin cost, we don't have that. Lupe does all the paperwork for free. I do all the charity work for free. All my volunteers come out for free. People donate food for free. They don't ask for money. They just give of their heart.
That's great stuff.
So I can tell you right now, we spend close to $400 a week. And if any of you are good at writing grants, I need a grant writer. And I need to contact Hefty because we use the plates, the 3-compartment plates. That's what we use to serve the people. And we use the sandwich containers for salads or desserts. I forgot Cake World on Cheyenne and Tenaya. They donate pastries, like their day-old pastries.
Wow.
And so we have, donuts and cookies and cakes and stuff like that. So support our restaurants who donate to us.
Absolutely.
And then in the summer, here's another statistic for you. We lost 500 people last year to heat-related illnesses.
Wow.
Most of them
Jeez.
dehydration. Most of them were homeless because they couldn't get water or beverages. They could not stay hydrated. And the lady I told you about, Maryville, literally had a guy die right in front of her.
Oh, my.
They got him water, but it was too late. They couldn't revive him. It was horrible. It was
Jesus
absolutely.
Christ.
When you see something like that, you want to talk about life-changing. That's life-changing. And, just like that little girl at the shelter, that was life-changing for me,
Yes.
And I told you we serve at the Care Complex. Their address is 200 East Fourmaster. You want to donate water, they get it to the people. They are right by the courtyard. There's, at any given time, 1,200 people down there. They need bottled water.
Wow.
And we are trying so hard to get this Gatorade in the cans, powdered mix, because, we could serve them a bottle of Gatorade, right?
Right.
But a bottle of Gatorade's like $1.20.
Yeah. It's
Right?
a lot. It's more than that, actually.
The cans are $14, $15, and I can serve 100 people with that.
Yeah.
So we go down, we make up drinks. In the summertime, we will serve 100 gallons of beverages and 1,000 bottles of water.
Well, that's amazing.
And just in our serving. And big shout out to Howard Mazer because he buys our water and bread for our hot dogs every single week. He spends, I don't know, $40-$50 on water and bread for our servings every single week. Wow. So if you guys want to donate, pokergives.org, you can send things either to 28 West Owens or you can send it to 200 East Fourmaster. And it will get to me. It will get to the people who actually need it. So,
Barbara, it's amazing you spend your time. I mean, I know you're like me. You got a full-time job, right?
I sure do.
And to take your time off like that to help people, God's going to reward you. I'm telling you right now.
Amen.
And you're not even wanting rewarded. I know that. And you're doing it from your heart.
Now you're going to make me cry.
Well, it's the truth, honey.
Yeah.
And next time I'm bringing damn tissues with me, I'll tell you that. This is ridiculous.
Yeah.
But it's hard to find people that care anymore. And I see how much you care. I see your love for this. So please, if you guys got a heart and you got some extra money, please send it to where she said. And
I do want to give
do something for
I
you,
want to give
me.
a shout out too, because the WPA is going to have a booth at the World Series of Poker this year. So you can donate there. And Lupe is going to be at South Point for Ladies Week. And we will have a booth set up and everything. We sell earrings, card protectors, knickknacks, jewelry, hats. I always buy the hats because I love hats. But all the proceeds from that go to Poker Gives. And that's how we are.
That's great.
I mean, and Clyde, I got to tell you, being on this podcast is huge because the power of social media is huge. And I see how many views you get. I see how many followers you have. And it just takes that one person. I'm going to tell you a little story. This past winter, we were going to shut Poker Gives down.
Wow.
Because we had about $3,000 in our bank account, and we spend about $1,600 a month on packaging, cups, forks, and that's pretty much all we buy. And the Gatorade, that's pretty much all we buy.
Wow.
But when you figure you're feeding 600-700 people, that adds up.
Jesus Christ. I didn't realize there's that many of them, really.
Yeah. So anyway, I went to Lupe and I said, I think this is going to be the last year. And thank God. I have no one to thank but God, because we got a check for $10,000 from a foundation. I have no idea who they are.
Wow.
I don't know how they heard about us.
That's amazing.
I don't know where they came from, but without that, we could not have continued.
Man, that is, wow.
So-
That's God right there, in my opinion.
It really
God
is.
came through because he knows these people really need help.
Yeah.
And, wow, I got to be careful here again, because I know how I'm built. Wow. Jesus, criminy. Keep talking. This is going to keep happening to me, but I can't help it. And,
listen, you and I are a lot alike.
When I pull up and I hit a red light and I'm on my way to work and they got their hair where it looked like it ain't been washed forever. I had one guy come up and he had two different shoes on.
Yep.
I mean,
there
I don't know what to say.
are people out on the streets, that are mentally ill, and we see them all the time. They know they need food,
Yeah.
so they'll come through our lines, which is great. And we do have to be careful, obviously, because when you're dealing with someone who's mentally ill, you never know at what point they can crack. But I told you, we've got some great volunteers. Jacqueline and her husband, Rob. Rob's a retired Air Force. And he heads the lineup, and he literally disseminates any anger, any,
Gets rid of it.
Yeah. And he's so good with people. There may be a fight starting to break out, and he'll start joking and messing with them. And, I just can't say enough about our volunteers. We have ladies in Sun City Anthem. There's probably, 16 to 20 ladies in Sun City Anthem. And if you know anything about Las Vegas, that's about a 40-minute drive from downtown Las Vegas. They come every week. They send one person from the community with a carload full of food, and they cook. We have Clara. She is Japanese, and she makes fantastic food. Every time she sends food down, I want to eat it. But, I'm like, it's for the homeless, Barb. It's for the homeless. But, we have Diane, who she got together this peanut butter and jelly group. And they get together every Monday, and they make 200 peanut butter and jelly sandwiches.
Wow.
And it's social hour, It's something good where they come together as a community. They get to talk. They get to socialize, build friendships, and yet they're helping people they don't even know.
Wow.
Audrey, and she's like, this is my tithe, Barb. For those of you who are Christians and you believe in tithing, and Audrey, she gives salads every single week. She gives these 5 huge tubs of salad. It's got to cost her at least $50, if not $100 a week. And she makes these beautiful salads, and the homeless people love them because they don't get vegetables. They don't get healthy food. And when we serve, I just want to tell you about our serving. Go to my Facebook page, Barbara Jones, Zangaro. Look at some of the videos, or go to Poker Gives. We're on Facebook. I'm not really good with social media, guys. I do the best I can do. But you will see we have a protein. They can have chicken, or they can have the seafood when we had Red Lobster there, or they can have beef and noodles. And then we have Brenda every week sends down 100 hot dogs. And then I make another 300 hot dogs. They love the hot dogs. They prefer beef only, but so would I. It's expensive. When you're feeding that many people, it gets expensive. So we don't use the beef only hot dogs just because we can't afford it. But we have hot dogs. And then we have rice from Yard House. Yard House probably gives us, I don't know, 300 pounds of rice a week. And Scott and Tina, great. You may know Scotty if you're a high limit mixed game player. He plays in the mixed games. And he cooks every single week. He cooks 7 to 8 pans of rice. And I'm talking about prep table pan, right. 4 inches deep.
Wow.
And he does that every week, picks up the rice, cooks it, brings it down, serves it. And then he and Tina take most of the pans home and wash them. Because when you're feeding that many people, we probably have 40 to 50 pans at the end of the night that I have to go home and wash. And so Scott and Tina take half of them and they, help me out with that, which is huge because who likes doing dishes, right?
No one.
Yeah. So we have the rice and then the ladies from Sun City, they'll send down whatever, fruit salad, clementines, oranges, bananas. We used to have a lady, if you guys know Lisa Pickle, I say her name wrong, I'm sure. But she used to buy a case of bananas for us every week, which is huge because potassium, those little clementine, the oranges, people send those down. Again, huge vitamin C, especially in the wintertime. These people don't get good nutrition. And so what we try to do is make sure they have one good, nutritious meal every single week. They're getting their vitamins, they're getting their vegetables, they're getting a protein, they're getting a starch. Every single week, they get that. And that's why it's their favorite night of the week.
Well, I'm telling you, it's a lot of hard to do what you do. Like I said, I know you're full-time like me, so we don't have a whole lot of time for you to spend your time helping out people that need really help is a big deal to me, and I always love you for that. And you're one hell of a tournament director, too. Even though I don't get to play that very much, so busy.
I hope to see you this summer, at least for one tournament.
Got to play a few tournaments at the WSOP, but, I'm also working full-time there, and I love doing that.
Yeah. That's, you and I share, I don't know if you know about this, but Annie Up used to have a contest about the most popular dealer.
No, I don't know about that.
Well, this was years ago, and I won the West Division.
Oh, awesome.
I was working at Aria at the time and the Orleans. I've worked at the Orleans since 2008. But so Ryan gave me shit because he goes, I don't know, Clyde's giving you a run for your money, Barb, on the most popular dealer.
Oh.
I said, look, I love Clyde. He can have it all he wants. But we love what we do,
I totally do.
We deal with overgrown boys sometimes and a little bit too much testosterone. Did you see that guy got decked at Red Rock?
Yeah, I've seen that.
That's horrible. Guys, poker's not worth that. Just so you know. But, I love what I do.
Me too.
But I love giving to people. And, there comes a point in everybody's life when you're like, I've got everything I need. This world is more than just about me. Let me help someone else and give back to the community that has given to me.
Barb, I think one of the reasons, that I get tipped well at my work is because I give. I give to homeless people. I do stuff like that. That's why I think I get tipped so well. And about loving my job, here's a story for you. This happened a couple days ago. It's crazy, but this just overwhelms me because this is what I deal with every day at my work, especially since I've been on that show. Everybody seems to know who I am. But I signed the 41, and what people don't know what a 41 is it's to get out early, okay? just to get out early. And it was 7:30. And I went, after I got tapped out of table 15, I went up to the desk. I said, how's it looking, me getting early out? He picks up the thing, little clipboard, looks at it, goes, well, it's possible, Clyde. It's very possible. Do you want out? Just as soon as he says that, 2 players come up to the desk. Okay? It says, Clyde, when you come to our table? And I said, well, what table are you at? We're at table 16. That just happened to be the table I go to next. So, and they don't know it, but I just asked my boss if I could take the 41. So I'm looking at him. He's looking at me. I look back at them. I look back at me. He's looking at me like, if you want to, Clyde, it's up to you. And I go, who wrote that down there? Scratch on. Can't you see I got fans here? Who wrote that? I don't need no damn 41. Look at those. These guys. So that was funny as hell, but that's what hit my mind. But this is what I'm getting at. This stuff is just overwhelming to me.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, these people come here and they waited all day for me to deal to them. And, we don't never know where we're going to go,
Yeah.
But, it's just, God has really, really done so much for me. Listen, we got to end this here real soon. One quick word? Anything else you want to say?
I got to real quick tell you. So this morning I walked into work, right? And this guy goes, oh, somebody just asked if you were coming in today. And I'm like, yeah, I'm here. So it's, our industry's fantastic.
It is.
God says give and it shall be given unto you. And I just believe give, pokergives.org. What can I say? There's nothing more I can say. Help somebody out. Please, if you're in Vegas, come volunteer with us. We serve on Monday nights. We are down there at 5 o'clock, 200 East Foremaster. You can look me up on Facebook. You can message me. If you send me a friend request and I don't know you, I'm not going to accept it unless you message me and let me know it's for real. So,
all right, listen, everyone. Thanks for watching today. May God be with you.
Thank you.
And once again, if you want to give, the information is in this podcast. And thanks for watching.
Thanks, Clyde.